Hi boys and girls, it's me, and today I have an Arvin model 760T that kind of looks like this. Okay, so you're saying, why don't you just show me the real radio, what it looks like? Well, thing is, it's apart right now, and I've got it on the bench. But I have a small problem with it. I've recapped and aligned it, and I still haven't quite figured it out yet, but now I have a hunch. Okay, so here's the underneath of my Arvin, and it's actually a nice radio. There's 6 tubes. There's one here, one here, one here, one up here, here, and here. So it's basically it's an AA5 with an extra tube. So in lieu of a 50L6, it's a 35. Well, excuse me, instead of a 50C5 because it's miniature tubes. It's a 35C5, and instead of let's see, and then it's got an extra 12BA6. Okay, so there's actually 2 12BA6s in here. So it's pretty cool. It's tuned RF and really nice radio, and I really want to make this thing work right. I played this for a while last night, and it started to sound terrible. It was cracking and popping, and I'm thinking, uh-oh, could it be silver mica disease? Well, I took my component tester, and I actually used it to troubleshoot these. So I went across this here and checked it, and then here and checked it. And what you're looking for by doing that is you're looking for an inductance and a resistance, and I was getting that off of each leg of this, and the same thing goes for this one down here. So this is actually the first IF, and this is the second IF up here. When I did an alignment on the radio, and I had no issues at all with the alignment. It kind of tuned right up, and boy, compared to what it was when I got it, when I first got everything recapped and gone through, boy, this thing was really picking up stations. So I'm a little excited about it. Okay, so what else did I do? Well, I've recapped everything except for this guy here. And you're probably saying, well, why'd you leave a wax capacitor in there? And well, it's pretty irrelevant because it's just basically for tone control, and the audio wasn't distorted. However, the problem with the radio is that it emulates a condition similar to silver mica disease. And there's more. Wait, there's a bonus. The bonus is that it changes the volume. So that kind of leads me to believe there's an AVC issue here. So I don't, I could be wrong. So here's what I've done. I measured all the resistors too, and all the resistors seem to be okay. There's nothing drastically off or that bad. So I decided to employ a new piece of my own personal tool warfare and see if I can find anything out with the radio. Although I've checked all the resistors and they seem to be okay on resistance, but you don't know how they're going to behave in the circuit. You see the volume. I went to a different station, but the volume is still kind of bouncing around. So what I've done is I picked something up about a month and a half ago, and I've only used it a couple times, but it's actually pretty cool. What this is, Ames is a horrible freight brand thing. So as you can see, it says infrared thermometer. So what I could do is I can fire this guy up, and let's see. Let me go to this 150 ohm resistor right here. Let's see if this is overheating. I can't really read this too well through the camera. And it's reading, well, peaked out at 103. Okay, that's not awful. This is a 1 watt resistor here that I installed. It's getting warm, but it's not really excessively hot. What about this? Another 150 here. Okay, it doesn't seem to be, that one doesn't seem to be getting too hot. Here's a 10 megger. Oh, wait a minute. No, let me see. No, I'm sorry. That's a 680 ohm resistor there. Let's see. Here's a couple 3.3 meg ohm resistors over here. I can't really see the display. Let me get. I think those are okay. There's a 2200 ohm resistor right there. Those aren't really getting too hot. There's another 22K resistor. Let's see, what is this? This is a 33K resistor. Not too bad. This is a 330K ohm resistor here. I don't know if that's coming through. Let me get it to a point where you can see it better on the camera. Okay. Now I've kind of done this dance once already. So let's go over here. I'm going to get the pointer. This is a 330 ohm resistor. It's already up to about 132, 133 degrees. Let it sit for another minute.
Cleveland will be playing tonight in Milwaukee against the Brewers, who, by the way, have lost Christian Yelich for the remainder of the season. So we'll see if they can keep up.
Well, I think what I do is take this 330K resistor and replace it and see what happens. Alright, I hate to admit to this, but I got fooled. You know, I put the temperature gun on this guy, and this thing went well over 150 degrees, almost 160 degrees. And I kind of heard the thing going in and out, like the volume kept changing, and I'm hearing the static and everything. I thought for sure that this was the problem, okay? So I changed it out, and then I had a small surprise. I should have kind of went with my first thoughts on this thing anyway, but what it ended up being was, here are your two IF cans, and although the volume was going in and out and it had static like we were in the middle of a rainstorm, and actually it was storming here not too long ago, this is your first RF and it's the second IF, and what it was that this first IF was toast. Now how do I know that? Well, when the radio was playing, I did something I did one time at a New Jersey Antique Radio Club Repair Clinic, and I've kind of used this technique ever since. So how did I come to the conclusion that, you know, I could find that it was that IF can? Take a screwdriver with a plastic handle or any kind of nut driver, wherever, and lightly tap on your IF cans. And if it's already starting to make noise, once you start tapping on these guys, this thing will just go nuts. It'll be staticking and everything, and that's what I was hearing with this. I wish I had the camera rolling when I did it, but that's the story. So anyhow, the radio is functional now. It seems to be pulling the stations quite well. The static is gone. The AVC fluctuation is gone, and life is good again. So, yeah, just consider that as a tip. Just take a screwdriver handle and start tapping on the IF cans, and believe me, if silver mica disease is there, when you start doing this, the radio is going to sound pretty darn crazy. It's just going to be stacking like nuts. So, I didn't. Oh, and by the way, I didn't repair that IF can only because I was just being kind of lazy. It was probably repairable, and I suspected this guy has been replaced before. I don't think this is the original can. This one I believe was, but it was one of the ones that had the threaded rod coming out at either side, and on the bottom of it was a rivet. I would have had to drill it out, and even with the coils spun all the way in, it would have been really tricky to try to drill that thing out, and I just didn't want to go through the garbage. So I do have about 8 or 9 of these 455 IFs, new old stock. So I just popped that in there, and this thing just woke right up. Hey, thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll be seeing you. Bye.
The DH, Jonah Bride at first base. Jesus Sanchez plays right field. Center fielder Derek Hill bats fifth. Third baseman Emmanuel Rivera bats sixth. Kyle Sowers at left. Otto Lopez at second. Nick Fortes does the catching. Now for the Mets.